Throughout history, people have adorned masks for protection, secrecy, and theatricality. Yet some of these masks have proven to be utterly unnecessary, if not downright ironic. The tales behind these superfluous shields span from basketball giants with misguided intentions to world leaders seeking peculiar comforts. These narratives not only unveil the deeper truths about their wearers, but also the quirks and foibles of the times they lived in. Journey with us as we explore the curious chronicles of the unnecessarily masked. The Giant Thief. In 1975, Reggie Harding, the towering 7'2" center for the Detroit Pistons, thought he'd try a change in his career by robbing a gas station in Detroit. Armed with a mask and presumably the world's worst disguise strategy for someone his size, the attendant quickly caught on, remarking, "I know it's you, Reggie." Evidently, his height gave him away. Who'd have thought? He might have stood a better chance robbing an NBA souvenir shop. While on the court, Harding was known to shoot hoops, but off the court, he seemingly shot himself in the foot with this escapade. Popular in Detroit, he was often seen as a gentle giant, but turns out he was also a not-so-great gas station thief. His addiction struggles were behind this misstep, which in the crime world could be equated to trying to dunk from the half-court line. After serving 3 of his 5-year sentence, Reggie shifted gears from offense on the court and a faux pas off it to defense against drugs, working as a counselor and motivational speaker. Sadly, he passed away in 2002 at the age of 52. Here's to Reggie, a man who proved that sometimes you're too big to hide, but never too big to turn things around. The Man in the Iron Mask. The Man in the Iron Mask is a captivating historical enigma from the 18th century. Born around 1658, he spent his life moving between France's most secure prisons, always concealed behind a mask. Theories about his true identity abound. One suggests he was Louis XIV's illegitimate son, Gayfer, who was imprisoned after a conflict with his legitimate brother. To protect the secret, strict measures were in place, including a commander with orders to eliminate anyone discovering the truth. Another theory, proposed by Voltaire, posited that the prisoner was Louis XIV's twin brother. Later hypotheses included the man being a foreign noble, possibly even Louis XV's father, or the Duc de Beaufort. Modern scholars lean towards the prisoner being Eustache d'Auger, a valet who may have known too many state secrets. However, the true identity and story behind the mask remain shrouded in unnecessary mystery. The cigar mask Winston Churchill, the man who responded to the looming threat of World War II by puffing away at a cigar. He was so dedicated to his love for cigars that even the vast heights of the sky weren't a limit. Imagine being thousands of feet above the ground, in a high-altitude airplane, and instead of worrying about altitude sickness or enemy planes, your main concern is, how can I smoke my cigar up here? Classic Churchill. In what might be one of history's most elaborate solutions to a nicotine craving, Churchill had a special, unnecessary oxygen mask designed, not by some random inventor, but by Davidoff of Geneva, the Swiss cigar maestro. The mask, a rubbery masterpiece, had a tiny hole to fit the tip of his cigar. A filter was added, not to protect Churchill from the smoke, but probably so the airplane wouldn't smell like a cigar lounge. Churchill proudly sported this mask on high-altitude travels. One could imagine Stalin's surprise when Churchill flew into Moscow in 1944, puffing away. And then again, during the Yalta Conference in 1945, alongside Stalin and Roosevelt. While the world's leaders were discussing global affairs, Churchill was likely contemplating whether his cigar had the right ash-to-length ratio. M for money. The Guy Fawkes mask, popularized by the film V for Vendetta, is ironically copyrighted by Time Warner. This means every time a rebel buys one to stick it to the man, they're unwittingly filling the pockets of a massive corporate man, Time Warner. It's a bit like trying to boycott a company by buying their merchandise. Thanks for the protest funds. The situation has sparked controversy, as many use the mask to oppose corporate greed and government corruption. So, while wearers might be screaming, "Down with corporate power," their wallets are whispering, "But first, let me fund them a little." Mask for a mask? The British renowned for their dry wit, love for tea, and impeccable manners. But let's not forget their more subtle talent, unintentional irony. You see, during WW2, the good folks across the pond handed out civilian respirator gas masks like they were going out of style. "Protect the citizens," they declared. "Ensure their safety from toxic gases." And in a delicious twist of irony, they packed these masks with filters containing 2 of Mother Nature's favorite little deathbringers, blue asbestos and arsenic. Now, for those of you who aren't hip to the dangerous duo, let me elaborate. Blue asbestos is like that seductive ex of yours. Looks pretty harmless, but will wreck your life in the long run. It has this nasty habit of causing cancer. Then there's arsenic, the metal version of that sneaky friend who promises to bring drinks to your party, but instead slips something toxic into the punch. It's responsible for things like skin damage, respiratory issues, and, drumroll please, more cancer. So just picture this: thousands of civilians, believing they're protecting themselves from potential threats, happily strapping on a mask that's akin to hugging a pair of poisonous pythons. It's like getting a lifeguard who can't swim, or having a vegetarian order the steak. The irony is so thick you could spread it on toast. In light of this deliciously morbid revelation, modern advice is beautifully simple. If you happen to stumble upon one of these vintage pieces of irony, don it with another gas mask. Yes, you heard it right. Wear a mask to handle a mask.